Dear participants, Namaskar. Uh, this is indeed great pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Today we have Dr. N.N. Sawant and he is going to deliver a talk on research techniques in cultural geography. It is always a great pleasure to introduce any speaker, but the pleasure doubles when I start introduce to Dr. Nandakumar Sawant. He is very close friend to me. I and beyond that, he is like a teacher to me. So I can say this pleasure doubles when I start introducing Dr. N.N. Sawant. He is presently working as a professor and head Department of Geography and Research Center, Parvati Bai Chaugule College of Arts, Science, Goa. He has 30 years teaching experience and it includes 13 years of administrative experience as a vice principal and principal. He has been awarded several awards, of which most prestigious are State Best Teacher Award, Director of Higher Education Government of Goa, Goa University Best Teacher Award in the year 2010, then Educational Leadership Award, Divang Mehta National Education Award. He has published more than 60 research articles and edited 5 books. He has completed 6 research projects funded by Ford Foundation, ICSSR, UGC, Government of Goa, etc. Professor Sawant was visiting faculty to University of La Réunion, France, under European Union uh, Erasmus Plus program, and in 2018 he was also selected as ICSSR International Research Scholar Exchange under ICSSR and NRCT, that is National Research Council, Thailand. He has extensively traveled to more than 10 foreign countries for academic deliberations. He is one on many national and state committees like expert member, UGC committee for conferment of autonomous status for colleges, and assessor for the National Assessment and Accreditation Council for Higher Education. At the state level, expert member of the Technical Support Group, Goa State Biodiversity Board, then Government of Goa, and expert member of the Goa State Coastal Zone Management Authority, Government of Goa. His research interest is in the field of education, population dynamics, tourism, and cultural landscape. He has delivered more than 100 key note and plenary talks at various academic platforms. With this very brief introduction, once again I welcome Dr. N.N. Sawant sir. Sir, it is really a pleasure to me to see on this platform and welcome you on behalf of all the organizing institutions. Sir, I request you kindly enlighten our participants, and I think it is really a great pleasure to me also that I am getting an opportunity to listen you. Sir, please continue.
Yeah. Uh, it is 4 o'clock. So, good evening and namaste. It's an extreme great pleasure to be associated with uh, Dr. Sardar Patil and, of course, affiliating colleges, especially the Mata Guruji College Autonomous at Fatehgarh Sahib, Punjab, and of course, Department of Geography, Chhatrapati Shivaji College, uh, Satara, and Gokte Joglekar College, Ratnagiri, and of course, one more college is there, Nagidas Khandulal College. So it's a quite good collaboration. First, let me just, before I start this presentation, I think we are into a phase where collaboration is a very important aspect. I need to acknowledge Dr. Sardar Patil for bringing not only institutions, but researchers and experts all across the country and given a platform. I would say the participants that how lucky you are, because what cannot be done by an organization, it has been done over here. And therefore, I'm sure the outcomes will be and dividends will be great. What we are going to talk is not per se only cultural geography, but I also would like to emphasize on a fact that how a human geographer has to do a research. But of course, I have chosen to talk about cultural geography, and we will definitely do this particular part. We need to understand very important aspect that whenever we talk about geography as such, there is something called as man-environment relationship in a spatio-temporal perspective. That means everything will change with space and time. And the very fact that when I'm going to correlate with culture, culture also is going to change. And therefore, at the very beginning, you should know the difference between civilization and culture. Civilization is something which we had in the past, and culture is what we are experiencing now. And therefore, you could see the dynamism of culture. And as students of geography, what we will do is that we will try to look at three important components. The first is that the paradigm shift in geography. This is the first part. Second thing we will talk is the contents of uh, cultural geography, and of course the third thing is that what are the methods in which. What I would like to look at is how do we start interacting. I have already a group of almost more than 30 people, and therefore the very fact that I was asking that from where and which part of the country you are, and here is a mosaic of cultural diversity, and this cultural diversity will enable us to get a lot of facts, figures when we are going to discuss this particular topic of cultural geography research methods. So I will just first and foremost uh, do a small little presentation, and of course in between I will switch off the presentation, and we will work more on discussions and many other things. So I have said that some insights. And why am I using this word called as some insights is because of the fact is that uh, the canvas of cultural geography is extremely very large and broad. And maybe within this given time, we will not be able to cover the whole canvas of this, but we could definitely draw a good picture of what could be the contents of cultural geography. Objective क्या है इस this session का? The objective of this session is कि after you complete this session, some clarity should come to you. As researchers, for us, the most important thing is that when I write a statement of problem, do I have a clarity on basis of our database and methodology? And many a times it is seen that people shift, and when they shift, then that clarity is not there. तो जब आप कोई भी गुफा या टनल में घुस रहे हो, सबसे पहले चीज है कैन आई सी द वर्ल्ड ऑन द अदर साइड. और जब तक अपना लेंस क्लियर ना हो, आई थिंक रिसर्च हैज नो गॉट वैलिडेशन. एंड देयरफॉर मेरा जो प्रयास रहेगा और माय approach to this is to bring some clarity. At least you will be able to see the light on the other. Okay, so basically how am I going to follow? I'm going to follow, and this is what is the agenda, because I believe till the time I don't define what are the objectives of this particular 1.5 hour of engagement with you, I'm sure we will not be able to define and look at the clarity of what we want to learn. So basically, I will put my presentation in three important conceptual formats. The first is going to look is that how did human geography develop, and in the context of cultural geography. And that is something which lot of people don't get, but I like to go it into the philosophical aspect of any subject that I want to put across to my students or maybe anybody who wants to receive. So the first part is perspectives of human geography with reference to the cultural geography. This is what we are going to look into the first part of our presentation. So if you look at human geography from 1950s, and why I've used in 1950s, because लास्ट 70 साल में भूगोल का क्या परिवर्तन हुआ है, and that's important. So Fred Schaffer realized that there is a shift in geography, and it is just not a descriptive science, but it is moving towards quantitative spatial science. So people started using statistical analysis. So what is the first thing that we became, that we started using statistics, and that made very clear that geography is a science. Uh, on the other hand, what happened was that uh, there was another school of geography which felt that it is just not using of statistics, of numbers, but we need to look at a lot of other components. And therefore in 1970s, especially after about uh, uh, 20 years or so, that we started looking at patterns and processes. And अगर आप 1970s 1980s की research paper पढ़ोगे, even 1990s तक, so you will see that people were writing a lot of paper on urbanization and growth and development. उसी के ऊपर ज़्यादा papers और research papers publish हुए थे. And David Harvey in 1969 said that, okay, there is a geography which is now addressing something called as the methodological issues. मतलब कि we were not very clear कि कौन सा methods can be used in geography. And one of the reasons was that you have one side the physical geography, and on the other side you have the human geography. And the whole formulation was that physical geography may a lot of scientific methods are there, whereas human geography is more of a descriptive and more of a spatial subject. And this is the time when there was reinforcement. Reinforcement is the fact is that can we look in a very scientific methodology, and therefore geography became empiricism or local part of it. But here is where the historical and cultural geographists rejected the notion. मतलब कि one side we were trying to showcase that geography is a science with using statistics, lot of empirical data. But on the other side, those who were more of cultural geographers and historical geographers said, no, this is not what all geography is. It could be still a descriptive science. It could be more of a philosophical aspect. It could be more of analytical aspects. And therefore, it somewhere was a little bit of a debate that happened. But I think somewhere in 1990s, we started geography in a different perspective, especially human geography had more of a behavioral approach. आप जब behavioral approach मतलब कि what do you see is that how do people move, how do people react, how do people, so it is more of a inquiry based. And when you say inquiry based research, I think it's a very important aspect, especially if you are socialist geographers. In social geographers, when we deal with human beings, there is a type of inquiry that we need to always put across and understand how does a particular system work, like how do trade unions work, how do economic disparity come, how does production comes. And therefore the whole philosophy of inquiry became a very good popular aspect of human geography. The last was something which started some 30 years back, is postmodernism. In somewhere in 1991 and always, liberalization, globalization had come out. There was a lot of spread of knowledge. There was empowerment, and therefore geography looked at various perspectives. अब जैसे ही you had the globalization, definitely there was economic empowerment. And if economic empowerment came, it became a disruptive type of cultural approach, because people were giving more emphasis towards economic benefits and therefore spatio-temporal perspectives looked at various aspects. And that is something which is very important, because Here is the time when we start realizing that human geography is trying to set its foot to understand what could be the research domains and what could be the research approaches which could give a very good standing when we do a quality type of research. And therefore we talked about something called realism, uh, perspectivism. Perspectivism is what could happen next, and realism is what are the facts and figures. And based on that, I think human geography, especially cultural geography, started evolving and exploring variety of approaches. कहने का मतलब ये था कि yes, along with cultural geography, sorry, yes, along with cultural geography, or we say human geography started exploring कि अगर मेरे को research करना है in human geography, I need to definitely have something called as wide approaches of geography, which could collaborate with social sciences. So we were not looking at isolations, we were not looking at verticals, but we were looking at a broader spectrum which could be interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach. So agar 2001 mein Potter has told that yes, when we are looking at human geography, we have to also look at welfare and social justice. And when we talk about social justice and when we are looking at culture also becomes a part of that, because culturally there has been some changes that take place because it's related to people. And how does a culture change because of certain aspects, and how do you try to justify? And you could see that across the world, recognition of UNESCO sites, across the world, creation of museums is all about reviving of the culture. And it was Chandna who said that yes, researchers have to start looking at micro level. और मैं जब माइक्रो लेवल में कह रहा हूँ, I read one thesis which had done only a research on Banaras के 2-3 streets. And what did that person do was that every year you could visit that particular street and notify what are the changes that took place. And that is how he looked at the cultural change in a particular street of a particular city. And it was documented, and that is how research came at a micro level. So what I'm just trying to tell is that आप कोई भी topic लो, but the way you develop your methodology could be a very great thing. So just to talk about human geography and cultural geography, uh, the one of the most important thing is that uh, geographers can do and find geography in every place that they visit and any time, whether it is a strange place or a familiar place. It's only the eye that we need to develop to do research. And therefore, when you do review of landscapes or cultural landscapes, मैं कहता हूँ, just as you have physical landscape, we have cultural regions and cultural landscapes, and the people will teach a lot. If you go to Goa, it's a different cultural landscape. If you come to Punjab, it's a different landscape. If you go to Konkan of Maharashtra, it's again a different cultural life, and the people also will change. And therefore, every place that you visit, it's just not a tourist destination, but it's also a cultural landscape where geographers find it very interesting and integrity, and that is what is very important. So just to summarize, uh, what did we learn? मतलब कि in the first part of our presentation, what did we learn? We learned a very important aspect कि human geography has been able to give us a lot of emphasis on various branches of geography. उसमें से एक है cultural geography. And what have we seen? There is a paradigm shift in which the approach is. आप अगर 1970s 1980s तक देखते हो, there was a linear methodology, descriptive, then statistical applications. But after the globalization, diversity has increased, and at this point of time, geography, or more so human geography, was trying to find out what approaches could be good. And that is the time when there was re-emphasis that हम लोग interdisciplinary approach accept करना चाहिए. We have to look at various disciplines in which they do. And अगर आपको cultural geography में research करना है, so it's very important that we start looking at anthropology, you look at sociology, you look at economics, you look at political science, you look at ethnographic, and that could become a very good way of concretization of your cultural geography research. This is the point number one. Point number two, what we see is that uh, cultural geography also can be at any place, anytime. You have to only change the way you start looking. अगर आप गोवा आओगे and you start doing research, you will see that yes, people are very merry, they were enjoying, they are very relaxed. And why they are relaxed? It is because the fact is that that's the culture. That's the culture. But on the other side, if you go to Mumbai, people are rushing and people will say, oh yeah, I have got a train which is just at 8 minutes, 8 o'clock in the morning with 1 minute, 8. So they will be very precise about time, and that is a city culture that you have. So you could see a leisure culture at one place, you can see a city culture at another place. You could look at different types of culture at the places, and regions play a very vital role. So that's a very important statement that you want to make. Okay, I will take 2 minutes at this point of time. Uh, Anybody wants to ask any question at this point of time? And that's only on the methodological aspects, or I would say evolution of human geography in context of cultural geography. Yes, anybody? I
Dear,
hope you're in the,
dear participants, please feel free to ask the question to sir. Please.
see, we basically, I'm trying to do an interactive class.
Yeah, yeah. And that is more better.
Yes, because jab tak you don't understand the philosophical aspect, so no questions. That's what the one of the persons has said. It's fine, absolutely fine. Okay, so then we go to the next part of the presentation, which I will talk about what is cultural geography, and then we'll go into the methodologies of cultural geography. Okay, on your screens, you see a picture. Can you tell me what this picture is? Or as a geographer, what is your interpretation? Because I'm now going to develop on the research program on this. Okay, as a geographers, you need to tell me, is it based on site or situation? We have two important components of development of a place, no? Site and situation. What is this? Come on. I have very good impression about you as researchers. Okay, this place has developed because of the situation, because it is situated at the banks of river Ganga, and it's a religious place of the Hindus. So very clear, आप अगर इस picture को देखते हो, तो you can come to an understanding it's a cultural landscape. And when you say about cultural landscape, you could see very clearly the bathing ghats, you see the temples. So the whole landscape of this particular place is focused on the religious aspect, and therefore a cultural landscape has evolved. Okay, so what I was trying to tell is that when I introduce cultural geography, it's a relationship between a place and a culture. So the place is situated at the banks of river Ganga, which is holy, and therefore the culture is more of a religious culture that has evolved. So what do you want to study on this? So you will understand what is the value systems in this particular place. Okay, then what are the material expressions and artifacts? Now material expressions are very clear over here. You can see here the bathing ghats. You can see the temples. Maybe if you go more into the city, you will find hotels, lodgings, um, all these things you will be able to see. And you will also understand is that what type of cultural diversity does it have? Does it have cultural diversity or a cultural homogeneity, and how is it distributed? मतलब कि आप even the town may have a lot of hierarchy of places, like maybe the lower caste people were staying outside of the religious place, and this is more of the Brahmins and many other things. So that is how the place will have to develop its own identity. And this is then, as a cultural geographer, up you will start documenting and then communicating it in the form of knowledge. So a cultural geography is how people produce and communicate knowledge and bring out meanings to this. So as a geographer, I have a meaning because it is situated on the banks of river Ganga. Though there are many places, but many places will have a different type of landscapes. But because river Ganga is religious, this is the landscape that has evolved, which is a cultural landscape. Okay, so what I'm just trying to tell you is that cultural geography is basically looking at cultural values. It's looking at artifacts. It's looking at cultural diversity, and how does a place evolve and make sense to the people, especially to a researcher, and how does a researcher interpret this particular place. Now, what is the major focus of cultural geography research? आप अगर cultural geography research देखोगे, तो you will first and foremost understand it has to use multi methods. And मैंने पहले ही बताया जब evolution of human geography पढ़ रहा था कि it has to use multi methods. Multi methods is you have to pull in techniques and approaches suitable to the topic of investigation. मतलब आपके अगर topic कोई भी investigation के लिए है, that is the method that you use. Then second thing is that the experiences and narratives. Now experiences and narratives is something is very important. मतलब कि if you want to do a documentation, you have to get into something called the narratives. And I'm going to make a lot of discussion on narratives. Then of course you have to use, which is very usually, and a lot of people must have spoken about quantitative and qualitative, and analyzing visuals. Now analyzing visuals is a very important thing. And last is the historical representation. Now that is what we are going to look at. So historical representation, you can look at your festivals, you can look at your the way we worship our gods is all a historical representation, or the mythological stories is a very great example of the part of it. Okay, now at this point of time I feel that this class is little slow, and मुझे अब इस class को थोड़ा सा active करना पड़ेगा. I am going to give a small little 2-line assignment for you, which will take about 2 minutes. Okay. Um you want to do, as a cultural geographer, you want to uh, make a study of the oldest temple in your place. I am reading again. As a cultural geographer, you want to document the oldest religious place of your village or a town or a city part of it. Okay, what methodology would you adopt and why? What methodology would you adopt and why? And I don't like putting up on chat box. I like people when they speak.
So we can do a naturalistic observation.
Okay, एक method है अपने observation method. आप observation करोगे तो what are the things that you're going to see?
So we can see that how the people are performing the rituals and what other kinds of activities are being done. And we can also participate so that we get to know more about them and we can know the opinion, the beliefs of the people.
Fantastic. तो इसको कौन सा method बोलोगे आप?
Thank you, sir.
What is
Sir,
the
what
method
did you
that is?
say?
So what you have spoken to me, अगर हम research methodology में बोलेंगे, what is this method called as? This method is called observation method. Okay. So
Yes,
one of
sir.
the ways is to do observation method. Yeah. Any other?
Sir, we can use the historical perspective to analyze the culture or to analyze the temple.
Dear participants, please be online. Sir will join back.
Uh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So what is the method that you, yes, uh, somebody was speaking, I was not able to listen. So can somebody repeat back again?
Sir, I was talking about the analysis of temple by looking out its history.
Very nice. So when you say history, आप क्या करोगे उसमें?
We can go to the priest of that temple and we look out it over the literature.
Very nice. So this is something which we talk about historical timelines and of course personal interviews also. Okay. So
It
that is
could be based on group discussions, na?
ग्रुप डिस्कशन जब होगा जब आप बहुत सारे लोगों से बात करोगे. आई एम गोइंग टू स्पीक ऑन दैट. What is group discussion also? Okay, very nice. So basically, I just wanted to say that this is the way we will start working on some of the aspects of research. So let me get back to what I am putting across. So basically, we need to evolve different methods, and it is good that we start looking at different methods if you want to conduct a cultural research that you are. So here you have seen uh, अब तक तो हम दोनों whatever we spoke was more of a qualitative type of research, and visuals is something which temples के ऊपर about which stone it was prepared, in which century it was prepared, what is the site it is, all this is a very important thing. Okay, so cultural research में आप what are the steps that you're going to follow? So when you do want to do a cultural geography research, first and foremost, identify an area, topic or research question. And I'm sure up to you have been bombarded with so many types of things. So you know what is a research topic and what is a research question. Then of course, conduct a background literature. And of course, we do review of literature by reading a lot of research papers. And then maybe you like to put across what is the research idea or questions. And that is where your methods will evolve. See, आप अगर देखोगे ये जो स्लाइड्स पे दिखा रहा हूं मैं, तो यू कैन रियली अंडरस्टैंड जब तक आपके पास टॉपिक की क्लियरिटी ना हो. एंड व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू इज दैट जितना आपका टॉपिक नैरो होगा उतना आप डेप्थ में जाओगे. हम लोग जब भी कोई भी स्टडी करते हैं ना, वी वांट टू डू एवरीथिंग, एंड आई थिंक दैट इज द टाइम व्हेन वी डोंट गिव एनी जस्टिस टू आवर रिसर्च. रिसर्च इज गुड व्हेन यू डू अ स्मॉल लिटिल टॉपिक. जैसे कि मैं अभी फिलहाल में अभी आई एम डूइंग अ वर्क ऑन कल्चरल हेरिटेज, और मैंने कल्चरल हेरिटेज में यही कहा कि सिंस गोवा वाज रूल्ड बाय द पोर्चुगीज, डू पीपल रिकॉग्नाइज कल्चरल हेरिटेज इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ पोर्चुगीज. मैंने इतना ही रिसर्च किया. सो व्हाट एंड हाउ इट इज पोर्ट्रेड by the names of the people, names of the building, by the architecture, by the food that we eat, and that is how we started doing at a very important way, the way you will try to part of it. जब आप कल्चरल रिसर्च करते हो, वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग्स वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड इज जो कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन मिलता है, इट हैज टू बी ऑथेंटिसिटी. दैट इज मोस्ट, मतलब कि वो एम्पेरिकल है या नहीं, क्योंकि वी आर डिपेंडिंग मोर ऑन पीपल्स रेस्पॉन्सेज. वी आर बाय आवर ऑब्जर्वेशन मेथड. तो हम लोग वेदर वी डू अ करेक्ट टाइप ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फिनोमेना, and it should be also brought on paper that lot of people should be brought to look at the cultural part of it. Okay, so आप अगर methods in cultural geography देखते हो, मैं यही कहना चाहता था कि you look at this and we'll spend some time in understanding this. कि first and foremost मैंने पहले ही कह चुका हूँ कि it has to be interdisciplinary, it has to be interrelated, and it has to be open ended. मतलब कि आप structure में cultural geography नहीं पढ़ सकते. You have to always keep an open ending, because every time you go and explore, you'll find some new things that happen. मतलब आप अगर गोवा में आओगे and if you see all the churches, you will see that they're all facing towards the west side. Now, this is a question for me, why it was facing west side, all churches in Goa, and it's a part of a cultural geography. And that is where we realized that the Portuguese came by the sea, and if they face towards the west, that means it's facing towards the sea. So it is a welcoming gesture. ये एक very important phenomena before cultural geography takes place. Okay, तो जब आप cultural geography के बारे में सोचते हो, you have to understand there are 4 important components that are very important. First and foremost कि groups and their setting. मतलब जब group होता है तो people, उनकी beliefs, उनका social life, उनके mythologies, उनके beliefs, that is something which is part of it. The second thing is that how do the group dynamism, मतलब आपकी group dynamism मतलब कि what is the way of administration the group works, what is their law and justice, like tribals ka law and justice is completely different as compared to maybe some other people of village community. Then how do families operate, again what is the types of festivals, what are the part, this is the way it is. The third thing is the interaction, मतलब कि interaction is certainly important because अगर change लाना है, it's the interaction. So interaction could be outside the village, inside the village, the connectivity that they have, the associations that they have, and the last is the important aspect is the biophysical setting. मतलब मैं example दूंगा biophysical setting, and this I give all how culture evolves. अगर आप गोवा में आओगे तो people will say it is fish curry and rice. आपका खाना क्या है? Fish curry and rice. Now, why did fish curry rice ही खाना है? It's very simple because it is a biophysical setting. मतलब कि since it is located in the coastal areas, fish is easily available. Then since it is in a tropical area, rice is grown enormously, so it becomes a fish curry as a cultural aspect, and it's purely a biophysical setting. At the same time, very importantly, which we realize is that, why used coconut only? If you go towards Maharashtra and or in the Ghat section, for the ingredient of preparing any type of curry, coconut ke badle you use groundnuts. But in Goa, it is used coconut as a paste for your gravy, and because coconut is grown largely. But if you go to North India, especially Punjab, and you'll use pyaz or tomato will be used. So that is how the culture of cooking comes up. And that is what we need to always relate with the landscape. The cultural landscape is the outcome of a physical landscape. Vidal de la Blache, the French geographer, also emphasized that yes, cultures are the product of the natural setting of the place, and that's something which we all need to understand. And I think that is a great inquiry that we start looking at. So that is the biogeo aspects that we look into part of it. I will give 1 or 2 year examples. Like for example, we have this Makar Sankrant, and in Maharashtra, people distribute Tilgul. Tilgul is til and good, and of course, it's a practice in North India also. So this is something which is a cultural geographical phenomena because January is the coldest month, and good and til gives a lot of heat, and good gives energy, and therefore, how see the cultural ecological systems have evolved that the festivals of a particular religion like Hindu is based on the dynamics of the geography of a place. So you need to, as a cultural geographer, look at this particular aspect, and I think then you come out with an amazing maze, what you see here in this context. Okay. The third thing which is very important is that, it is interrelated, and therefore, मैं जब ने ये कहा कि it is open-ended. Why did I use the word open-ended? Because if you see, it is such an interrelationship. मतलब कि अगर मैं पूछूंगा कि how has culture changed because of globalization, you will have multiple reasons. आप ये बोलोगे कि globalization के कारण migration हो गया, and because of migration, people of different religion, caste, creed came, and you could see the dynamism of culture that is changing. पहले हम लोग ट्रेडिशनल ड्रेस पहनते थे, अब जीन्स एंड टी शर्ट्स पहनने लगे. इट्स अ कल्चरल इन्वेजन दैट हैज टेकन प्लेस. सो यू कुड सी खाने में global brands like Domino's and everything, and the traditional food has taken part. But the other way also of looking, and therefore you could see that when you look at the cultural geography, it has a very complex phenomena that you have to understand, and that is what when you put a methodology of doing cultural geography research, थोड़ी सी दिक्कत आती है because of the complexities that you have, and it is not singular, it is multi-dimensional way it is, and therefore I say cultural studies are complex and interrelated. Okay, so at this point of time, I will again go back and look into what is something which is very important. I just want anybody to reflect on what I spoke. मतलब कि do you agree or you don't agree on certain aspects which I spoke? Please remember, I'm not treating you as students, but I'm talking as co-partners of research in cultural geography. Can anybody give an example of saying that yes, culture and place have some significance? Please give me one example. Pratik Sawant, please give me. Or Priyanka Thakur can give.
Dear students, please open up.
Okay, let
Sir,
me
should
ask
I
you.
give an
Hello.
example?
Yeah, please, please.
Hello.
Sir,
Yes,
we
Okay,
see
okay.
that
Let her
I
speak.
think
we see that
Subi
in
wants to speak. Riti, just hold on. Subi wants to speak. Okay, Subi, please speak.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah, please speak.
use is also seen because as we see that in Punjab, sarso oil is used in cooking because
Correct,
sarso is abundant there. And in
correct.
Gujarat and Rajasthan, groundnut oil is used. In South, coconut oil is used. So as per the
Fantastic.
cultivation of the cereal, yes. So oil is also
Correct,
used in the cuisine, yes.
correct. Very
And
nice. A good example.
Mediterranean we use oil.
Fantastic. I will give one more example of this.
Which is also famous in India now. But in Mediterranean areas, olive oil is used because in Italian cuisine. Yes.
Absolutely. I will give one more example
Thank you.
of this is that, we had been to Sweden, and there people, drink a lot of coffee. And, they every time if you have a meeting, everything, they will say, let's have a coffee break. And they use the word called fika. Now that's called a fika. Now, see here, understand, then I was also quite impressed and I also got used to drinking coffee. So I bought some packets of coffee to India, and suddenly after 2-3 days, I realized that I'm getting a lot of boils on my tongue and my lips. So I was a little surprised and I went to the doctor and asked, sir, this is what has happened. The doctor said, is there a change in diet habits? I said, nothing but except that coffee. He just told me, can you WhatsApp the package? Yes, I said. And then he said, this coffee is not good for tropical lands. This is good for temperate where it's cold. मतलब आप कहना सकता हूँ मैं culturally how if people are drinking a lot of coffee in temperate regions and cold regions, that cannot be adapted to Indian context because of the climatic condition. That is how cultures of drinking certain things becomes a very important component. Okay, so I'm trying to correlate how things occur in the context of cultures. Yeah, I think Riti also wanted to speak something. Please, Riti.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to give example of dressing because dressing is also a part of culture. Sir, in
Correct.
our country, we see that we have loose clothes like sari, salwar, kameez, dhoti, and sir, because our our country is mostly in the tropical area, that's why. So we have
Correct.
moderate or hot climate depending on the location, South India or North India. But if we talk about the colder countries, those are in Europe, so they have blazers. That is their traditional clothes, blazer, suit, because of the cold climatic conditions which prevail over there. So the clothing that is part of culture is also affected by the geography of the place.
That is what we are trying to emphasize. मतलब कि I think you are all
Yes, sir.
understanding जब हम cultural geography पढ़ते हैं तो we have to understand the placelessness. हम लोग geography में placelessness बोलते हैं उसको. The placelessness of that place is very important. Like I'll give a very simple example. आप church में shoes पहन के जाते हो. Okay, you wear a suit and go to the church. But in Hindu temples, we take out our footwear and go. The reason is that religion, Christianity is in a colder area, and if you do not, if you take out your shoes, it will lead to a lot of health issues. It cannot be, and therefore हम नहीं कह सकते हैं कि भाई उस religion में ऐसे होता है, which is not acceptable to us because that religion demands that type of setup and this part of it. So what I'm just now also making you understand that we have to start looking the culture in a different perspective. मैं कहना क्या चाहता हूं कि when you go to do a cultural geography study, you cannot go with the mindset of your place. You have to go with the mindset of that place and start doing a research. नहीं तो you will all have your inferences wrong. You will say ये लोग ऐसे नहीं करते, ये लोग ऐसे करते हैं. Absolutely नहीं होगा, because that is what it's demanding at that particular place. Okay. So I will go back to what I am teaching now. Let's get into this. So when you want to do a research in geography, there are 4 important attributes. एक होता है cultural ideas, second होते हैं cultural objectives, third होते हैं cultural events, and fourth होते हैं cultural practices. Okay? So एक होता है cultural idea, मतलब मेरा belief क्या है. Cultural objectives, आपको objects तो clear पता है, cultural events पता है, cultural practice. Now there is a small little test for everybody in this class, and except for these 2 ladies and the 1 man who spoke, others will answer to me this. I have listed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 चीजें मैंने note किए हुए हैं. You have to tell me what will relate to what. Means 4 options हैं: ideas, object, practice, and events. You have to choose. I'll give you 2 minutes for this. Okay, let's do a quick, okay. Women wearing a particular dress is what? Women wearing a particular dress is what?
Sir, is it cultural practice?
Correct. It is cultural practice. Religious structure.
Or the cultural object?
Fantastic. Festivals.
Sir, cultural
Cultural
belief,
events.
Events.
events,
It's cultural events. It's cultural events. Then thought of a particular community. Thoughts of particular community.
Cultural ideas.
Ideas. Fine. Fantastic. And ethnocentrism. 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 Does anybody know the meaning of ethnocentrism in culture?
Sir, it is basically the comparison of other culture with our own culture.
Yes, and degrading the other culture. That is ethnocentrism. मतलब मेरा culture
Yes,
अच्छा है,
sir.
बाकी सबका
Considering
culture
that
wrong है.
our cultural is superior to others.
Fantastic. So that is called as cultural ideas. And perception of marriage. It is again cultural idea, because everybody has a
ideas.
different. Correct. So okay. So what I'm just trying to tell you is that जब तक आपके concepts are not very clear in research, you will just then start collecting data without doing an analytical point of view. So that is what was my idea of making you understand this particular whole phenomena. You can go on listing this. In fact, I'm reading a very good book on culture, Thinking Like an Anthropologist. Maybe I can share the book and other thing, which is very fantastic if you want to really do a good research on cultural geography. Okay, so now I will go to the different methods of doing research in cultural geography. So one of the is that oral history. मतलब कि oral history is something where it is not written somewhere, but it is passed by the old people. They will tell their life stories, their unique memories. Like for example, अगर a flood आया हुआ है, and how it affected the temple, and this temple was shifted from the river bank to Taken. That maybe 30-40 years, a person who has been living here in this village will be able to give you a very good oral history, or how did the people come and settle in that particular village, and then the settlement took place. So oral history is something which is very good. Oral history is also good if you want to find out family histories. मतलब कि this just like Punjab, Goa also has a lot of culture of people going and working abroad. Of course, in Punjab, a lot of people go to USA and Canada, but here in Goa, people go on ships working and everything. And that is the time when I tell my students that your oral history will become a very important part. You ask your grandmother that when did who went first in the house, so that other people also have started doing the migration part of it. And that is how you will get a very good reminiscences matlab the reflections of your family, maybe of your community, maybe of your society. And old people are the best source of oral history. Oral history is not only about people, but also there are communities which will keep on doing this. And uh, uh, if you look at Maharashtra, there are people will keep on telling this. I'm sure with all parts of the country you will have different peoples who go on performing, and maybe they sing things like we have in Maharashtra Pavadas, where they will tell you the oral history of greatness of Lord of Chhatrapati Shivaji. So that is the way in which you can note down, and they will tell you that how Shivaji went and captured places, and how he was able to defeat the Mughals and other things. And that is something which is a very important ways of writing your notes and making oral histories into something called as a documented document that you have. Okay, so this is something is one of the methods that you have. Now, of course, there is certain do's and don'ts. Because of paucity of time, I will not be able to show the YouTube of what oral history has to be done. But some of the important tips which I would always put is that you should always have read something about that particular place or everything. And second thing, you should know what questions you're going to ask. And the third thing is that आप कभी ये मत बताइए कि तुम्हें पता है. You always have to listen to the person or the expert who is going to speak, because you want to know his views or her views, and maybe then try to correlate what you have heard or what you have part. Because I used a word called as authenticity, and that is where it's a very important way you do this. Okay. The second thing is narratives. मतलब कि narratives is much more broader. मतलब कि narratives आप किसी को भी मिलो. Oral histories is we are specific who have experienced that particular event. But narratives, and let me tell you in history, narratives are very important, because it will not only talk about the history, but it will talk about the culture, it will talk about the social part of it. And people like to tell stories. Actually, मैं बताता हूँ कि especially elderly people like to tell stories, and that is something which we should try to gather. And we could, if put right type of questions, people will be able to give, and then maybe you will try to correlate certain things, why it happens and why it did not happen. Okay, so this is something which we need to understand how cultures evolve. मतलब कि I will try to give an example here. In 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 Maharashtra, Ganesh festival is a very famous festival, and people celebrate with a lot of greatness, feast and everything. So once I had gone to my village for celebration of Ganesh festival, and what I saw that was um, the whole place was decorated with all wild flowers, wild fruits and everything. And something very important was I saw was that on the top of the Ganesh idol, a sheet was put of wooden, which was like a platform or a what आजकल हम लोग बोलते हैं false ceiling. So I asked my grandmother, why is it? He says, it's only to protect Lord Ganesh, because that time we had mud houses and it's a rainy season. Any disaster can happen and it can fall down and collapse. So it's a protection. So आप देखिए culture कैसे evolve हो गया. This is point number one. Point number two, people did not have money, so they could bring anything what was available in the forest, and that is how they used to decorate that particular festival. So what I'm just trying to is that when we do cultural geographical research, we also need to understand the ecosystems that survive in a particular place. Okay, so I'm sure you have understood what you call as oral history and narratives. Now, the third thing is that how do you do observation? मतलब कि आपके पास 4 pictures हैं. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you need to tell me which is the best way of doing observation method. Can you see the pictures? 4 pictures हैं. One who is somebody writing, somebody who's taking photographs, third is observing, and fourth is getting into the system. So that is called observation-based research in cultural geography. Okay, my question is, are all the four people contributing to cultural research? Pehle, let's talk about yes or no. Sneha. Okay, Riti, आप ही बताओ.
Yes, they are contributing. They are doing the part.
Yes. Yeah. So if you have seen this four picture, the first picture is on the top of the hill is taking photographs, and photographs are very good source of information. The other person is writing a diary. Third thing is observing and seeing, okay, what is happening. And the fourth is getting into the system. Like for example, when we talked about the temple, so you go into the temple, or then you realize it is experiential learning. आप कर रहे हो कि yes, why do people फेरे ले रहे हैं, तो कितने फेरे ले रहे हैं, तो अगर शिव जी का लिंग है तो उसको स्नान कैसे दे रहे हो. सो यू एक्सपीरियंशियली यू आर learning the culture of that particular place. So that is a very important component, and therefore I would not say that okay, only one method of observation is good, but it's all the four methods of observation is important because it will help us to analyze and part of it. So each one will go part of it. Actually, a lot of Japanese, if you have seen, they always take photographs, और उसके बाद वो they start doing the analysis. And I think each one will be contributing because now you're collating the data. I used see cultural geography is very dispersed, and आप चार चीजों का जब आप collation करोगे, then you will realize that what I had taken a photograph is something which will give me certain insights. What I observed has able to develop my understanding and reflection. I'm going to show you one particular PowerPoint presentation of what is called reflection method, which is very important thing. Okay, now let's go to the next method. And I think this is one of the fantastic methods of cultural geography. मुझे खुद को बहुत अच्छा लगता है, that is called the timeline method. Now, timeline method is called the chronological order of events that you plan for your project. Okay, so whenever you want to do a research, you can do a timeline method. मतलब कि cultural transformation, when did it happen, and which was the critical point? मतलब कि pre-globalization, post-globalization, post-modernization. Was it because of migration? Was it because of economic empowerment? And it is an amazing way of doing this. Unfortunately, अपने पास time नहीं है ना, तो I could have done a small little exercise of, you know, how timeline methods can give you a very good insights on this particular event that was part of it. So being in Goa, you know, this is something which you talk about. If you Google and find out what are the events that you are happening, and you can see here, okay, there is going to be a live music and jazz, and there is going to be something else happening on today, November 29th and on 30th. So you could see something which, sorry, it is this week itself, today 29th and 30th. So you will be able to create a timeline ki yes, what is now same as what cultural perceived. So आप देखोगे यहाँ there is a lot of Western influence that has happened in Goa, and when did that Western influence come in the cultural setup of Goa? That is what you part of it. Now, when you say timeline method, there are two ways. As geographers, we are more important in spatio-temporal. And when you say spatio-temporal, very clearly you could see here a very important thing. One is time span, 1796, 1843, 1871, and you see how cultural concepts have changed and what is happening and the development of the world. So आप अगर दो गांवों के बारे में कर सकते हो, development के बारे में, दो places के बारे में देख सकते हो. So it's a very good thing that what happened. मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ कि in 1985 I was in school, and a satellite was falling. That was called as the one satellite was falling down, and it was supposed to fall on India. And the scientists in USA were trying to divert it so that it can fall in Indian Ocean. And that was the time what Indians were doing. So Indians were basically trying to pray in the temples and saying कि भगवान इस satellite को हमारे ऊपर ना गिरे, it should fall in the part of it. So you understand the cultural difference between US versus India. That's the way it is. Okay, let's focus some time here, and you can see here very clearly this of Goa, where I can see how timeline period can look into. So you see on the vertical axis the dates, and on the horizontal what events have happened. एंड आप अगर देखते हो वेरी क्लियरली कि 1970s में टार रोड हो गया, 1992 में फेरी बोट सर्विस होगी, सो फ्रॉम द मेन लैंड टू द आइलैंड, and then road was constructed and a bridge was also constructed. This is Konkan Railway that came up, and because of which the tourism started. So you could see in about 2000 Pleasure Island came, and therefore the culture of that particular place changed. So you see how well it can be depicted when you put it in a timeline period. Okay, so this is something which we need to understand, a very good example which can be looked at when we talk about timeline method. I will add one more example of timeline method so that you understand. Since मैं गोवा से हूँ, I will try to tell you that. See, Goa became a tourist destination somewhere in 1970s. और उस time आप देखोगे कि hippies started coming because they found these beaches are very fantastic. They are with no people around, and Europe had already gone through a lot of crisis. लोग तो आए, but they brought a change in the culture of the people. So you understand, invasion of people of different culture can also bring a change in the culture of a host country and many other things. So how cultures change is a very important phenomena when you look at the timeline. So if I go back to the timeline, I will be able to look at a very nice way in which enhancement of the culture has taken place. Okay, we'll go to the next method. Now, have you heard about Likert scale? आपने कभी Likert scale सुना है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, actually a lot of psychologists use Likert scale. हम geographers, we do not use much of Likert scale, but I think that's a very good way, especially when you want to look at the perceptions of culture. मतलब कि ये देखो question है, I know my culture. I know culture very well, so I will say strongly agree. If I do not know, I will say I strongly don't agree. Then I value a lot of things. I know well at least one culture than my other culture. So ये एक perception study है where you can use a very good method of Likert scale. So Likert scale can be to a point of 5, 7, 9. So it's always an odd number because in center you keep the average and then you say lower ends and the higher end. You can always, some are which are of 10. I would recommend strongly to put it to 5 or 7, which is good. Especially अगर आप statistics apply करते हो, Likert scale is a very good because it will talk about mean index, it will talk about standard deviation and many other things. So let me just look at, so here it is that scaling method, a questionnaire is based on 5-point Likert scale, and if it is 5 points, strongly agree, neutral, disagree, that also can be done. And you can also use a little bit percentage method, and then you can use a descriptive method using this Likert scale to mean, median, and part of it. Okay. So I'm giving you example here of a tourist destination which is undergoing a cultural change. So आप देखते हो a tourist destination called Agonda. If you have come down to Goa, there is a place called Palolem and there is another called Agonda. तो आप यहाँ पे देखते हो, I have taken a sample and I have put it and I have looked at the mean. So you could see here what is that. I can know that yes, it is definitely economically it has helped a lot because the scoring is 4.35 to the scale of 5. Okay, and it has improved the standard of living. But when you look at culture, it has not contributed too much in this context. But infrastructure has changed. Understanding other culture has been little bit okay, but there has been no cultural exchange. So when I look at the cultural geographical aspect, I would say that yes, tourism for Goa has definitely brought in economic benefit, but people are not very comfortable with the cultural change that has taken place in the context of enrichment in a particular place or a tourist destination. Okay, so a quick question for all of you to keep you in the class. What is Likert scale?
Sir, I think Likert scale is a method based on feedbacks, like agree,
Correct.
disagree, or how much agree are you.
Correct. तो
Or
आप उसको
sometimes
scale,
it can be based on satisfaction also.
yes, it is a satisfaction index. It is a perceptions also. मतलब आपको क्या लगता है? So since I'm teaching you only discussing cultural geography, but Likert scale is a very good thing. अगर especially आपको quantitative data use करना है, and also you want to use certain statistics. So I'm sure you had a session on statistics. There is something called descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So differential statistics may mean, median, mode, and all these things you use. And whereas in inferential statistics, you're using ANOVA test, t-test, and other things, which will enable to test our hypothesis. So you will be able to do this with a good Likert scale method. Okay, let's go to the next. Now, आप अगर foreigners को देखते हो, you know, do it yourself, learning the way they do it. मतलब कि अगर आपको culture study करना है, तो you have to do an experiential learning and researching. मतलब कि you go and stay and then observe everything. Like for example, life of women in a tribal cultural setting. So if you move, you know that yes, she is collecting wood. Then which wood she is collecting? Is she collecting a tender wood or a broken wood? How much kilometers she is walking? And then what is the costume that she wears and how does she do self-defense and many other things. And therefore, your diary of researching will become absolutely on a very good scale, because you are doing daily charting, you are doing weekly charting, seasonal charting, and we look at various important cultures. Actually, agriculture is a very good doing yourself seasonal charting, because if you look at tribals, when they do the shifting agriculture, they show you a very good case study of how nature and culture can look into their understanding. So this is just one example of how foreigners stay with the tribal groups, and then they start interacting, they become friends, they eat what food they, so you will know what is their food habits and everything, and of course what words and other things also which will bring meaning to you. Okay, the next is a ranking method. Now ranking method is that if you want to know that yes, I know there are 5 things, like for example मैं अगर सवाल पूछूंगा कि what has impacted the culture of a particular place, is it economic development, is it that mothers have started working, is that a nuclear family system? So you can ask so many questions, and then based on the ranking I can say yes, one of the key factors for change in the culture is XYZ reason. So that is something which is an amazing factor that was looked into this. So for example here, in somewhere in 2000, research was taken for students' value, what people understand value systems in terms of culture. So for them, value systems is not about families, but the way it was more important about true friendship, self-respect, happiness, freedom, and world at a peace. That was the last point part of it. So it can keep on talking the way you would look at the various aspects part of it. Okay, so can anybody tell me, okay, can anybody tell me what is the difference between Likert scale and ranking?
Sir,
And
may
can
I
you
speak?
convert
Sir,
Likert, can you convert Likert scale into ranking scale?
sir, basically ranking method is based on the grading system. I
Correct.
think, and we can convert the Likert scale also into ranking by converting it into mean. Like
Fantastic.
higher the mean, higher the rank.
Yes, but it will only give first rank. It will not give the other ranks.
It's also it's on the based on the factors, number of factors, na.
Correct. It is based
There
on,
are there are 4 or 5 factors, and
correct.
which factor cover most
Okay,
highest mean,
I
and
got your point. So very good.
it would be the on highest rank, and
Correct.
then the next rank, then the next, and the lowest mean cover the lowest rank.
Correct. Very nice. So see, basically हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं हम लोग? We are trying to analyze a particular type of questionnaire which you will create and what can be beneficial
So,
and what ways you could do this. Yeah.
everything is destiny. No one knows what we are going to do today, where we are going to be, what we are going to do, what we are going to do. This. Everything is destiny.
Okay. So this is what we will get forward. So you can use your Likert scale also to develop a ranking. That is something which you need to take account of this. Okay. So for example, yeah, the other factor which you would, Alva ma'am, can I request you to mute your microphone? Okay. So we'll go back to what we're talking. See, for example, here, scale of ranking culture as perceived by the graduating students, where they believe that, yes, self-belief is the best form of cultural understanding. Somebody may say that is family will be very instrumental in talking about culture. The others may say community-based, nationality, and of course, difficult to figure out and all things. So what I'm just trying to tell here is that it can change as per the gender, it can change as per religious perceptions, it can be upbringing, outlook, education, and many other things. Like for example, if there is no exposure to the child, definitely you can expect that the person will say that yes, family is a key factor or community is a key factor. But supposing the child is outgoing and has traveled places and everything, he says, okay, I understand because I have looked and experienced, and that could be the key factor for understanding the perception. So whole idea is to make you understand that ranking method could be a great part of it. Okay. What is transit walk? Matlab ki it is a enhanced observation. When you walk across a particular village, particular site, you are able to observe lot of things. And मैं अगर बोलता हूँ, you can connect the dots. Like connect the dots मतलब कि मैं कहूँगा अगर एक temple है, तो you could always now figure out who were the people who are living in and around the temple and what is the culture in the core of that particular village. Then if you walk out, then you see a landscape changing in terms of house, in terms of people's dressing and everything, and then you can say, okay, I think this village has a social segregation and it is homogeneously classified. Okay, this is one way. Second thing, agar main बताऊं, if you come down to Goa, you will find that the fishing community is more towards the coast, and it's but natural because then, and they have a different culture. Like their songs are more related to the sea. Okay, because they want to worship the sea god and many other things, and therefore a transit walk is just longitudinally walking or putting, and then you can put a lot of parameters. They say either bataya hai, like fish farming, vegetable cultivation, where is the church located, and what are the other activities that are happening, and that is how you can look at the transit walk. Okay, the next is genealogical charting. Now what is genealogical charting? Genealogical charting is हम लोग simple language में बोलते हैं family tree. Okay, it's a family tree which we like to put across. But then you may ask me, sir, how does it work with cultures? And it does work with cultures because agar aap want to look at this, especially in the Goan context, conversions took place. They were Hindus, the Portuguese came and then they converted them into other Catholic groups and anything. And you see that very clearly, conversions have taken place, intercaste into religious marriages have taken place, and is there a special organization in that particular village? Is you could look at it in a very broader perspective. At this point of time, I want to also tell you something very interesting. Uh, if you come down to Goa, there is a mix of names. Like I have a staff whose name is Vijay Fernandez. So Vijay is a Hindu name and Fernandez is a Christian name. Now somebody coming from outside बोलता है, what is this? मतलब ये तो बहुत ही अजीब name है, Hindu and a Christian. So it is indicating that yes, originally I was a Hindu, I've been converted into Christianity. So this is something which we need to understand. Second thing, if you look at the newspapers, and I'll tell you, this is something also very important of looking at newspapers. अगर advertisements of matrimonial देखते हो आप गोवा में, so they will say we would want an alliance for our daughter who is a Catholic Brahmin or a Catholic Sudhir. Sudhir is Shudra, or word Chaddo is a Kshatriya. So it also talks about that yes, people have been converted, their culture has changed, but the very fact that they still want their roots to be labeled and understand. Therefore, a Christian Catholic is a Hindu Catholic who has been now converted. So this is something very interesting about cultural studies, which is very exciting. So आप अगर in depth में जाओगे, so you will be able to understand this whole phenomena of how cultural studies and geography research will play a very important. Geological chart will show when did the actual things changed and whether the genes have been moved. Now group discussion. Okay, I think this was a wrong slide that I put. It's okay. This was something which I did with my students, but what I was just trying to tell you is that whenever you do a group discussion, I will go on next to this. Okay, so this is something as a focus group discussion. Sorry, the slide came up. So focus group discussion, because initially हम लोग जब बात कर रहे थे, what is the difference between personal interviews and focus group discussion? Personal interview में I will discuss later on, but focus group discussion में normally हम लोग 6 to 8 people. I would not say 12 people, though it is written in literature 12 people, but I personally like 6 to 8 people because they are in your control. If 12 log ho jate hain, तो it's out of control. And the only thing is that when you do a focus group discussion, the people should be of same belief, thought process, and many other things. Like for example, I want to know about status of women, then it is very important that I take all married women and then only talk about them. Then I take all girls and talk to them, because the synergy and the opinions of a married woman and a girl will be completely different, and you should be able to moderate. And last most important thing is that आप focus group जब discussion करते हो, your instruction should be very clear that मुझे ये find out करना है, and therefore my discussion is good on this topic only. And if somebody is going outside the topic, you need to do an intervention and saying नहीं, I want to know about this. मतलब कि yes, what are the religious belief of your place, and how do you follow as a female? Okay, why do you do a fasting? What does the fasting mean to you? This is something which we need to do, and therefore it will help us to find out opinions, beliefs, attitudes. That's most important thing, and it will also enable us to do a deeper learning. And when I say deeper learning, हम लोग एक शब्द यूज करते हैं validation. Validation means if I've heard something, I have now validated from the focus group discussion. Yes, what was said by outside people is validated in my focus group discussion, or that is the way it has to be looked at. And therefore, normally before you write the comments of a focus group discussion, you need to write something about this. That is what I have written, that focus group was conducted on so and so day, and because I was telling you I'm doing a research on heritage, so this is what it was recorded online, and then the aim was to, so you could see here where written the aim was to discuss was to how they perceive heritage in the context of Margao town, and there were 7 questions which were there. So I always say focus group discussion jab karte ho, you should have at least a rough questionnaire, because you don't want the people to go out of the context of discussion. Okay, so हम लोग जब बता रहे थे, I think this slide is there, like I showed you about observers. This is something which is very important. मतलब कि आप जब observe करते हो, you are should be able to reporting is writing, but you have to respond and reflect. मतलब कि मेरे डायरी में मैंने ये ऑब्जर्व किया है, why is this way, what are my questions, and then you start reconstructing how it means. Okay, so your second encounter will make you more understanding the fact. Like अगर आप गोवा में आओगे, drinking is a culture. पहले टाइम आप देखोगे तो you will say, oh यार, this is something not very good, and you will say it's ethnocentrism. But second time, if you talk to people, ask why this culture has come, you have to say, yes, it was under the Portuguese rule for 450 years, and the Portuguese thought that this is a part of the culture, and therefore wine making, wine drinking is part of culture, and there is no gender discrimination whether it is girls or boys. So you can understand, matlab ki, yes, so you will not give long observations or wrong inferences, because now you have been able to relate. That is what is called the third part, relating, reasoning, and then you are able to make a sense, and that is called the reconstruction of a learning part of it. Okay. The next thing which is there in culture is also something called the heritage talk. Now, heritage talk is something very interesting, because heritage walk, you cannot do it on your own. You have to bring some person who is very known to this particular place. He will take to you different places, and then he will explain you many important concepts that you have. Okay, and you will also bring a lot of correlations that you have. So this is something which is very interesting about. So it will talk about the history, it will talk about the culture, it will talk about the monuments, objects, and many other things. Okay, and that's the way it has to be looked into the context. Like for example, when we were doing a heritage for Margaon, Goa, we saw that on the structures there was a cock put, matlab ki hen and cock, bird. So we were not really realizing why was that cock put in this particular phenomena. Then the heritage person told us that it indicated in the olden times that yes, I am with the Portuguese, because the national bird of Portugal is cock. And that is how you can be able to correlate the evolution of a culture, and how you can make cultural research being a very important phenomena. Okay. So historical research, I have talked about many other things, which is historical narratives, which can be looked through various things. Why I use this word historical narratives is something which we call as archives. You know, archives are libraries which have got a lot of information, which will enable to look into what changes have taken place in the historical past, and it will give you a very good referencing of the research that you want to conduct in the part of it. Now, personal interviews. Now, I will just talk about 1 minute. Hold on. Yes. Let's get into personal interviews. Do you know what is the method of personal interviews if you want to do a cultural study? What is the best way of doing personal interviews? So, see yes, somebody wants to speak?
So we can prepare a questionnaire
Very
related
nice.
to our interest, topic
Okay.
of interest, and then we can ask a expert or a person who has knowledge about that topic.
Correct. So what I'm just saying is sampling, that when you do a personal interview, you have to know that that person in an expert field. You cannot do a personal interview with anybody. Like I will tell you, I'm doing a work on cultural heritage. So I know I have to go to a person who has a old heritage home. So I will go and interview that person. Then I will go to the church priest and interview him, because I want to know about the history and culture of that particular church. कब आप feast celebrate करते हो, how do people. So you have to choose. Also you have to interview some authorities like the historians and also the policy decision makers. Please remember, हम लोग बहुत loop sided research करते हैं. We feel that you just want to complete the research, but to have a holistic approach, we should definitely take into the policy decision makers and everything. Sir, I know I'm almost 5:30. I will just try to wind up in about 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So once you do a personal interview, this is the way it has to be written. See, for example, there are three important paragraphs that have been written here. And what you see is that first and foremost, you have to give a profile of that particular person. So you say that the respondent two is in a teaching profession, has been teaching history for last 30 years. So this is something you give in. That means I have emphasized that person is a researcher and he has a lot of good experience about heritage and culture. Second thing, if you see here, uh, I have written in simple letters and font, italic fonts. So you see here, I've written in, I will just underline for you. This is in italics. Now, what does this mean? The italic is the statement that the person has made. And वो statement के लिए reference देना चाहिए. So you have to give a reference, you have to create a background and then you give a reference. Like for example, I have said here कि मडगांव में बहुत सारे heritage homes हैं which depict the culture of a particular place. And then there was a question is that what do you feel about this? So that person has now responded part of it. So this is my one question then. Then second thing मेरा question था कि are we losing identity, cultural identity or not? So that person has responded here and said this very clearly. Yes, the cultural identity of that place has been hit, especially because of urbanization and selling of the old houses and constructing new buildings, and this has actually affected the cultural heritage. So you know how you have to part of it, and lastly you have to do that in-text citation. What is it called as? In-text citation. I've written here, Sarita Tari, Personal Communication, April 4, 2021. So that is the way we have to do correct academic integrity and understand part of it. Okay. So just this is just a view that what can be historical and cultural, because I said culture is not in Setu, it is a multidisciplinary. I just give an example of how history can be collaborated with culture. And today cultural geography is into various domains. And with a lot of mobility of people, we are talking about cross-cultural comparisons. You are talking about cross-cultural research and validation. As geographers, we are looking at culture and ecology, and of course, exploring which is not available. I just want to say this when I'm saying unpacking part of it. If you look at the first part of my presentation, मैंने ये कहा था कि what did R.C. Chandna said, we have to get into micro level studies. So if you are staying in a small village, आपका cultural studies will not be known to me till the time you do a publication and magnify that. Okay, same thing. Therefore, unpackaging studies are important extremely, because universal knowledge is available, but micro level studies are absolutely very important. So for me, I leave this stage by saying that as cultural geographers, we have to explore something which has not been explored, and it has to be interdisciplinary, it has to be of cross-sectional, and we have to look from a place and the places of a place and how it evolves culture. With this, let me thank for a very interesting session. I could have gone because that's something which I like to work on, but it is absolutely a great pleasure to speak to you all. I'm always there if somebody wants to, get into hardcore research on cultural geography. I will be very happy to collaborate, and our sir could give my address and email ID for your benefit. So Sardar sir, Dr. Sardar, thank you very much for giving this beautiful session, and with beautiful students who were quite interactive. I could have wished that many more could have interacted with me. Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you very much for your deliberative, resourceful deliberations, and it was really an interacting session. But because in last 24 days only we are delivering the lectures, and at the last we are inviting the questions. That was our practice. But today it seems that it is and it will be more beneficial to the participants. Dear participants, if you have any more questions, please you may ask. Otherwise, we will conclude the session.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Sir, yeah,
boliye,
it
sir.
was a very much informative lecture by you, or we can say the discussion class. I want to ask about two things in the research related to cultural geography. One thing is about the exaggeration. Most of the time, when we ask about the religious, when we discuss about the religion or some stories, we usually encounter the myths or exaggeration of ideas. So, how can we overcome these exaggeration or myths related to the religion, like customs and the stories, historical stories?
Okay.
This is my one question, and I have a second question, which I want to ask about the same thing, uh, like clash of ideas. There are so many things. There are so many things we can say in culture, which usually relies with the clashes of stories or clashes of ideas. Like there are multiple forms of Ramayana in India. For example, we usually read about the Valmiki's Ramayana. Okay? This is a different story. But when we read about the Lahuli Ramayana, which is related to the Himachal, there in this Ramayana, the Mata Sita was the daughter of Ravana, and the battle between the Ravana and Ram, Lord Ram, was fought because they Mata Sita and Lord Ram get married, not in the way of arrange. It was like a love marriage.
Eloping, yes.
It was against the against the against the Ravan. So how can we remove these myths and these clash of ideas and these type of I can say things in the cultural geography? How can we rely upon these things, these stories?
Okay. I think I may not be able to answer your second question because this is mythological stories which are documented for the ages. But I would definitely like to answer your first question. अभी whenever आप लोग research करते हो, what is the most important thing is validation. Now validation के लिए यहाँ पे if you take only one personal interview on a particular phenomenon or a particular festival, one person will give you one opinion. So similarly, if you interview 10 people, so one person's opinion or two person's opinion in research do not have any validation. तो अगर 6-7 लोगों का इंटरव्यू करते हो and then you find out what is the common factor which all of them have spoken, which shows very clearly, yes, this is the real meaning. Rest extra whatever is given is an exaggeration or which is not a invalid part of it. It is like simple, we are finding out the mean score in statistics. This is a qualitative mean which we are trying to find out by validating. The more you start people asking a phenomena and more people you get it, then your validation will become more and more lithified. That is what I would only put across. Second thing, I don't want to comment, but I would say that Ramayana itself is a version. But here in versions, maybe some logical way of doing is going to be part of it, or the critical analysis of various researchers in the context of Ramayana would be only way in which you can say, okay, this is something which makes sense and this does not make a sense. Okay, that is what we can only talk about. But I personally say I would not be very competent to talk about the second question that you have asked.
Thank you, sir. I also want to talk about when we ask the question about a same type of strata, about the same type of I can say culture or religion or the customs from a same type of sample, a stratified sample which have uniform characteristics or which have basically uniform ideas. So when we in that situation, how can we rely upon those ideas? How can we think कि ये सही है, कि this is right or wrong?
Okay.
For example, I can say, for example, if I go to a historical temple, okay, there are lot of stories related to the temple, and when we ask about the temple, usually most of the people uh, situated, most of the households, most of the people uh, reside near the temple, they usually give the same answer. Now, so how can we rely upon those answers, even if get exaggerated or looks like myths?
Okay. Are you doing a questionnaire based study or you are doing on personal based studies?
Uh, I faced this problem in both the form of research, like in questionnaire based research, as well as in the group discussion also.
Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to make now is what happens when you do a structured questionnaire. It is but natural you're going to get a same uniform answers. So this is the time when you have to look at something called as personal interviews, which will enable you to ask them questions कि भाई मेरे को ऐसे ऐसे output मिला है. Do you feel it is correct or wrong and why? जब आप why पूछते हो then people start thinking, and then that is the time when you are trying to questioning, and questioning is not bad. Unfortunately, what happens, we as researchers do not want to take the other way of research, and the other way of research is questioning which you feel that is not something which is validated or which has not authenticity, and therefore you want to do authenticity by questioning in a different way. That is the only way which you can now find out whether what people are perceiving is only a mythological story or they are looking at a very practical solution which they want to give to you. That is the only way you can do it.
Okay, sir, that's it from my side. It was a very informative and very much beautiful interactive session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I hope there may not be further questions. Okay, all no questions in chat box. Sir, once again I extend my sincere thanks to you for accepting our invitation and delivering your resourceful lecture. Definitely the students will get an idea that how we can collect the qualitative data and how we can focus on cultural geography by collecting qualitative data, analyzing the qualitative data, and you have provided a direction to the students, and I'm sure the PG students, those who are interested in cultural geography, uh, may be beneficial. I'm not maybe, surely they will be beneficial with your delightful deliberations. Sir, thank you. Thank you once again for sharing your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear participants, tomorrow we will have a session on research techniques in geomorphology